Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I'm a second late here. I was getting something downloaded for you guys to see. Let me get it pinned. So I put in here a picture of, where'd it go? Where is it? I downloaded a picture of the cover of the website for the Seller Summit that's coming up, and it did not bring it in here. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so let's pin that. So tap that picture of the item I just pinned. Anyone that is an established seller who would like to go to the Whatnot Seller Summit. They are having a seller summit in Austin, Texas, the weekend of April 25th. So it's on April 25th, Saturday. Oh, good morning. Welcome in. So thanks for coming in. So I can, if anyone wants more details about that, check your email. If you're an established seller, they will have sent you an email about this seller summit that I just pinned. So it's April 25th. Welcome in. Hi, Trish. How are you? All right. So J Loft. There we go. J Loft Creations. Welcome. So read the show notes, everybody. And then if you have specific questions or things you're looking for help for, please put in chat your questions with a question mark or what it is you're looking for with a question mark. So it shows up bold so that I can make sure and guide you or answer your questions. And it's easier if you put a question mark because then it shows up bold and I don't miss it. And then I have a way also, if you didn't know how to do this. So on a mobile device, see that little arrow that's right above the chat? You can tap that little arrow and it brings up a menu and you can sort by questions, buyers, mods, and muted. So you can sort the chat. So it's helpful when I'm doing this if you put a question mark and then I can sort by specific questions and not make sure I don't miss them. So welcome in everybody. The show notes have a lot of information. If you're new to me, make sure you open them and take a screenshot of all the stuff in there. Welcome, Shorty Stuff. Good morning. There's five, I think it's 5 or 6. Are there 6 starred bullets now? I lose track. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 starred bullets in there. And those are all of the official places for you to go and get help and information from Whatnot. And I always tell people you should always go to the direct source first for help. And then when you need additional help, come to chats like this and, get more details because sometimes the official help can't necessarily tell you the little details of things or things that are happening directly, immediately, and so on, because they have to gear their information to the general audience and don't always keep it. I mean, they keep it pretty up to date, but you know what I mean? There's things that happen that they don't necessarily have in there. So, yeah. So that's what you need to do. So make sure you have the show notes copied so that you can refer to those. So Twin River says a customer bought a half yard, but it was left out of their package. Is there a way to generate a shipping label for that item in Whatnot or cancel it? So there's not a way to generate a new shipping label unless you contact customer service and explain it, and they might help you out and help you generate one. Otherwise, you either send it to them on your own expense. So you can just go into their previous order to get their name and address, or you, cancel that or refund that part of their order. So you decide. So, since you left it out, you're obligated to either send it at your expense or refund them for that part of the order. So you may want to ask them if they still want it. And then it would be a really good customer service effort to go ahead and, spend the money to send it to them since you accidentally left it out. So if they still want it, then yeah. Let's see, I ate $8 to send because sent with free thread and wasn't a flat package. Wasn't a flat package. The initial one, or you went ahead and sent it. So it sounds like you already sent it. Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay, yeah. Yep, that's probably the best thing to do. And I mean, ultimately, they're going to appreciate that recognize the error and spent a little bit extra money to send it to them. And just be extra careful when you're packing your orders and checking off what they bought, that you've got everything in there. So come up with some system that you use to make sure. So always count how many items they have. It tells you on the packing slip, and just double check that so that you don't have that happen. I mean, we all make mistakes, but yeah, it's best to do that because honestly, on the back end, the better customer service you provide, the more you're going to have people trust you and want to come back and shop again. And they will give you good reviews and so on. So, yeah. I had a show and forgot to add the template to the kits that went out. I sent it to everyone the very next day. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to own up to your mistakes, make it right, and people will trust you and be, wanting to come back because you made the effort to, do the right thing. Own up to your mistake and do it. Yeah. Yep. And I know it costs you money, but that's, if you want to be in business, if you want to do this, that's, you've got to own up and you've got to deliver the the best customer service. They're here watching your shows, buying from you, and then if they feel like you're not trustworthy, they're not going to come back, and you might get a few bad reviews, which will prevent other people from coming. So in the long run, it's well worth the effort to provide excellent customer service, for sure. All right, welcome in everybody. Thanks for joining. Please read the show notes. And I have pinned on there for any of you that are seasoned sellers, a picture of the Seller Summit coming up in Austin, Texas, April 25th. If you're a seasoned seller, you should have gotten an email inviting you to see if you want to come to that summit. So check your emails. And that's another reminder to always check your emails because you have an email address that you gave Whatnot when you signed up, and they will send you things to that email address. That is how they communicate with you. And if you aren't checking that email or you're allowing your Whatnot emails to go to junk, you miss out on opportunities to learn about updates, opportunities to learn about incentives, opportunities to learn about special events. So make sure you're checking your email that you have associated with your Whatnot account. So yeah. This just happened to me yesterday and the person is making it right. Very much appreciated. Oh, an item left out. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, people appreciate when you address their concerns. And, occasionally you do get people who are um, scammers trying to get free stuff, and you have to kind of feel it out. And usually Whatnot has is really good about tracking how many times people have requested cancellations or refunds. And they actually start limiting people if, they're crying wolf all the time and really they're just trying to get free crap. So you can trust that if someone is an abuser, they're probably going to get denied. So just, you know, do the right thing if, you did make a mistake. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining. Let me know if you have questions or comments that you want me to read. Put them in chat with a question mark. Please check the show notes that has all the information about where you can find me on YouTube, where you can find Whatnot, um, programs, and seller information, all those starred bullets. Make sure you take a screenshot of all of that information in the show notes. All right. Let me just share with you what's in my auction tab for all of you that are newer looking for help. So if you click on the shop, so right now it is this in the shop right there. Click on that and then navigate to the auction tab. And there are, I think, 20 items in there now of different things to help you. They're just informational listings that you can click on and then get the information that's in there, screenshot them, and then you'll have that information to refer to. Some of them are official sources that Whatnot shares, and some of them are things I put together. So the ones that are obviously Whatnot are the ones that are all logoed and fancy and have the pictures. The ones that I put together are other lists and things like that. So make sure you go through there and see what's in there. Let me point out a couple. So this is one that I share a lot. Let's see. Truly Materialistic says, "Oh, can I sell a PDF on Whatnot? I have PDF instant download patterns." Not at this time. They don't have that set up. It is something that has been asked for. I don't know that it is a high priority. You have to remember Whatnot's origins. Their origins are collectible Funko Pops, trading cards, coins, and those kind of collectibles. And they put most of their effort, money, marketing, and stuff into the categories that bring them the biggest return. And honestly, right now, those are the categories. The rest of us, it's not that they ignore us. They appreciate all sellers. They appreciate everybody who's making them money. But those of us who would like to see certain categories expand, it's going to be a much slower burn, if you know what I mean. So I don't know that that is a priority for them. So, because they are kind of shying away from wanting to have the more creative handmade, that kind of stuff, because they don't want the slower shipping time, the having to wait for custom orders, those kind of things. So we'll see. We'll see. But we're pushing for it. We want that. And I definitely think that it's a possibility. I just don't know when. So yeah. Are you able to let customers know they are available elsewhere? Technically, if it's something that they can buy from you on a different platform, the answer is no. But what you can do is share your social media, and they can go to your social media, and there they would be able to see that it's available, because you're not allowed per terms of service to direct customers to other platforms where you sell. That's against terms of service. That makes sense. Um, Whatnot wants, if you're selling on Whatnot, they want you to keep the money here. So you would have to share it through your social media. So encourage people to go follow you on social media. That's allowed. And then on your social media, you could advertise it. On business cards enclosed in packages. Technically, I don't think that that's an issue, just because they're not going to know about it, but still be careful, because if it's very obvious and people are getting cards saying go to my Etsy store or go to my Shopify account or whatever, that would get a little bit sketchy too. But you could include a little card maybe that said, go visit my Facebook page to learn about PDF downloads I have available, or something like that. So, again, I don't want to encourage anyone to break terms of service. So, yep. Anyway, so in the auction tab, let me point out a couple. So I just pinned this one. This is a document that helps you choose what shipping settings are going to work for you. Right now, new sellers are not being given the option to offer reduced shipping. They took it away because too many new sellers were not learning how to do shipping and screwing it up royally and causing a lot of cancellations and customer service headaches. So they took reduced shipping away from new sellers. They have not specifically said when a new seller will get reduced shipping. So you just have to do your best. And then at some point, when you've proven that you know how to run a shop and a show and do your shipping, you will, be able to offer reduced shipping at some point. But they haven't specified when that will be. What is reduced shipping? The opportunity for you to offer that the buyer only has to pay up to a certain amount, so that it incentivizes people to want to come to your shows because of the reduced shipping. So this document does talk about reduced shipping, but it's not available if you're too new. So if you signed up to sell within the last, I think it's about 4 or 5 months now, you probably don't have that option. If you signed up before that and have done some shows, you probably have it. So, hey, like it, swipe it. How are you this morning? Faye West is in the house. How's my friend? All right. So, yeah. So if you need help figuring out just, okay, basically, what am I going to do for shipping? So your decisions really are, what are you going to use for 1 to 5 pounds and 5 pounds and over? And if you sell stuff that mostly will fit in flat rate packaging, I encourage you to use that. It's free from the post office, so are the priority boxes, but flat rate gives your customer, if you're going to offer flat rate on both 1 to 5 pounds and 5 pounds and over, it gives your customer the best price. And on the back end, if you have to pay any of the shipping, it also gave you the best price. So, yeah. So, if you can mostly ship in flat rate packaging, that's usually the best option. If what you sell is not typically going to fit in flat rate packaging, you're probably going to want to have your setting set for 1 to 5 pounds priority and 5 pounds and over ground advantage. That is actually the default settings. So when you sign up to sell, the default setting is priority for 1 to 5 pounds and 5 pounds and over set at ground advantage. That gives the customer the best shipping rate if, anything goes over 5 pounds and you aren't able to use flat rate shipping. So go through that document. If you need help figuring out the boxes and how they work and how labels work, my YouTube channel is the second paragraph in the show notes. It's Draz on Whatnot. You can go to my YouTube account, go to the live shows. I have 3 shows in there that are titled Don't Sink Your Shipping, and it has a ship emoji as the first thing on the title. It's in my lives on my YouTube channel. Watch those lives. And in the first and second ones, I show you all the boxes. We show you the settings on the screen. We show you how to ship and all that stuff. And then the third one, we talked about custom shipping profiles. That's on my YouTube account. So in the show notes, which are here, right here, the little show notes, the sticky note, tap that. This is my YouTube account right there, Draz on Whatnot. So you can go there and go to my live shows on my YouTube account, and you can watch those videos. So I'll show you really quick on YouTube. So go over to YouTube and type in my YouTube account name, which is Draz on Whatnot, all one word. Put it in with the ampersand because I'm not famous or anything out there with millions of followers. It's easier to find me by typing it in exactly. So Draz on Whatnot, all one word. And that's my account right there with my same logo. Tap that and then go to the lives. So I multicast on YouTube. So all my shows are saved under the lives. And then scroll through my lives. So YouTube and Insta are okay to attach. Yeah, you can guide people to your social media. You just can't guide people to other platforms that you sell on. So in your profile, you can tell people to go follow you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you have social media. That is free to, you're free to share that and have people follow you there. What's not okay is to list in your profile, oh, by the way, I sell on Etsy under this name and I sell on eBay under this name, because then you're guiding people to other platforms to buy your stuff. That's against terms of service. All right, so here's my lives. So just scroll down and find the one that has the ship emoji as the first thing in the title. And you'll scroll for a bit because I have a lot of shows. But here's the latest one. See the little ship emoji? Don't sink your shipping. That was the last one I had. That one is where we talked about custom shipping profiles. Then you're going to want to scroll down some more and find the next one that has the ship emoji on it. And that one I shared all the boxes and settings and all that good stuff. So find that and then you'll be able to watch that show and get help. And I would recommend that you take a screenshot of that choosing basic shipping settings document that I have pinned so that you can refer to that as you're watching the video. And people get really nervous about shipping on Whatnot. So here's the other one. See the little ship emoji on there? Don't sink your shipping. Okay. So make sure you watch those. if you need help with shipping. So people get upset about shipping on whatnot. It's really not that difficult. I promise you it's not. You just need to do your due diligence and learn how it works. And one of the ways I think is best when you're new is have some practice shows that are private shows so that you can do some actual live shows and have someone that um, you can send the link to that doesn't live in your house and have them actually buy some stuff so that you can practice how the shipping works. Just put a few things in there for $1 and have them actually buy it, and it can just be your mom that lives down the street or whatever, just not someone in your same house, and have them buy some stuff and then do the fulfillment so you can see how the shipping works. And then, you can just refund them or whatever. Just pay your mom to buy a couple of things so that you can see how it works. It's worth the effort to do those private shows so that you can practice everything you need to practice, including doing the shipping. Okay. All right. What do you guys need help with? What are your biggest frustrations right now? What are you concerned about? What are you thinking that is, you're like, are you on the fence of, can I do this? And what are the things that are preventing you or making you feel like it's not going to work? Tell me your concerns. And I'll be honest with you, this is hard work. This is not for the weak. This is not for people who don't want to put in a lot of effort to make it work. So be honest with yourself. How long should your first show be? Minimum of 1 hour, and really minimum of 2. And I'll tell you why. It's going to take, depending on when you go live. If you go live within the incentive time where they're going to boost your first show, you might be able to stay on a little bit less because they'll boost it. But you probably want to stay on longer to take advantage of that promotion that they do for the first sellers, for new sellers. So if you're within that time where they're telling you that they'll promote your show, stay on as long as you can, because they'll, promote your show and you're going to be able to take advantage of that. But bare minimum of an hour, because it takes that long for you to even be found. So I think a lot of new sellers make the mistake of going live and then no one comes in and they give up after about 15 or 20 minutes. Guess what? If you keep doing that, going live 15, 20 minutes, no one's coming, you leave, you're never going to get anywhere, because it takes about an hour before people can actually see that you're on and pop in and out, and then a few people will start staying in your show. Because if you look at how the For You page works, people come in, the big sellers are going to always be on top because they have the most followers, the most bookmarks, the highest, everything that the algorithms favor. And it doesn't necessarily mean everybody's going to only go to that show. It just means that people go to the shows on top first. And if you're down at the bottom, it's going to take a while for people to go in and out of shows and then go, oh, who's this? What's this new show? Who's this? And pop in. So you have to stay on long enough for people to find you, and then long enough so that the people who are coming in and out, and then if you're doing a great show, some people are going to start sticking around. You've got to be patient with the process. So bare minimum 1 hour. I highly suggest at least 2. And I know that seems mind-blowingly like, how in the heck am I supposed to stay on for an hour to 2 hours talking to myself? You have to put on a production. This is a production. When you go live on Whatnot, you're putting on a show. So you've got to pretend like you have an audience, even if you don't. So, yes, sing, tell people about yourself. Try and have some moderators that can be there with you, family members, friends that you can interact with. That will help a lot, because then you don't feel like you're talking to the wall. If you have an actual live person that you work with, have them there. That helps as well. But actually go through the process of running a show. Run your items. That is how you start making sales. So if you're sitting there expecting people to come in and tell you what they want to see, it ain't going to happen. Or if it does, it's rare. So you've got to pretend like you have an audience and just start showing and running your stuff as if there are people there. And then as soon as you start doing that, ultimately people will start bidding. That's what the platform does. And if you have nice stuff, you've done your homework, you've listed things, you've got nice pictures, you've got items listed, and you've got a nice display, bada bing, it's going to start working. So just do all the things you need to do to make it happen and start doing shows. And it does take time. All of us who've been successful have been there, done that. Trust me on that. We all had horrible first shows where we sat there and tried to show and sell and tell and blah, 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 blah. And finally, things start clicking. It just takes time. You have to have patience. Well, most of us, that's true. There's a few people that come from, fame and whatever on other platforms. If there's a YouTube star or whatever, they can bring an audience, so there's a few people like that. But most of us are the other way around. We had to build it from scratch. So, yeah. And Like It, Swipe It kind of built it beforehand, because if you come on the platform as a buyer and interact and do a lot of things before you start selling, you can kind of have a built-in audience. So, if you're thinking about selling, be interactive with the community that you want to sell in first, and be a buyer and a moderator and a friend, and it's going to get you a lot further along in the sales process if you then start selling, because you will have already made a lot of connections. This platform is all about connecting. It's all about community. It's all about the whole social interaction part of it, just as much as it is about selling. And yes, just be a good person. Karma comes back. Big time. Big time. Because it is such a social platform. All those same dynamics that exist on social media exist here. People choose who they want to follow, who they want to go to their shows, who they like, etc., etc. Don't get butthurt about that kind of stuff. It's just part of the whole experience, right? Let's see. Truly Materialistic said the Aerosphere encouraged me to mingle. Even if I couldn't buy, it helps a ton. Exactly. Exactly. If you're able to somehow resist buying and still be in there interacting, and because you can't afford to buy or whatever, mingle, 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 mingle. It really does make a difference. Yes, the king of mingle. So, yeah, it is a social platform. So, if you go watch the interview that they did with the CEO, it was about a month ago now. He was interviewed on the Whatnot Seller account. Someone asked the question, what was your original vision for this platform? Hello, that was their original vision. They wanted a place where people could come and sell and buy in a social media environment where they could interact live. That was the original intent. So it's doing what it was intended to do. So if you don't like that part of the platform, then this probably isn't for you. Go sell on eBay, go sell on Mercari, go sell on Etsy or something where you don't have to socialize and interact live with people. If you're not a people person, this might not be your platform. So yeah, you're creating a family. So yes. Let's see. Oh, is Kinetic here? Welcome in, Kinetic Lace, if you're here. Let's see. Impossible for me to go to a show and not buy. I know. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Yes, you're here. Yay. It is hard if you have that problem of not being able to interact without buying. Learn to discipline yourself. I've learned to discipline myself. And most of the time, I'm successful. So, yes, I do know. Um, but yeah, you can do that. Remove your main card, only put in, you can put limits on your account if you need to, stuff like that. So, but it is hard. This is a very addictive platform, just as much as other social media platforms are addictive. It's just addictive in more than one way. It's addictive because you're, doing all the social stuff, but it's also addictive because you want to buy. And so, yeah, you have to be able to learn to control and use it the way that will, be to your advantage, but also, help you to grow as a business. So Little Winona says, I find myself scrolling for entertainment and not really buying. Some sellers are a hoot. Yeah. And keep that in mind because one of the exercises I tell people to do, I'll tell you about, but keep that in mind as a seller. People are here on Whatnot instead of watching reruns of Friends or playing Angry Birds or whatever stupid little games people play on their phones. It's replacing the other stuff they used to do in their free time, their downtime, their relaxation time. So if you're not entertaining, are they going to stick around in your shows? I'm not saying you have to be as entertaining as Seinfeld, but you've got to be entertaining enough and have the right kind of things people want to see for them to want to stick around in your shows. Right? You are a delight. Hello. All right. So, yeah, you've got to be something people want to watch. And here's the thing, everybody has a different vibe. Also, keep that in mind. Just because, someone loves, Like It, Swipe It show doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be in love with your shows and vice versa. Because we all have a different vibe. We attract different types of people. People go to the shows that they're comfortable in. They like the people, they like how they are, they like what they talk about, they like their merchandise, and so on. Everybody has different tastes. So, and it's not that you can't have multiple tastes. You can. I have lots of different tastes of people's shows that I like to watch. You know, we all have our things. And here's the exercise I was going to tell you about. So, um, you're not for everyone, and that's okay. Well, we like you. We'll keep you. So take a piece of paper and a pencil, legit piece of paper and pencil. I know nobody writes anymore. Do it. Go onto the platform and go completely crazy. Go into a category you've never been in. Go look at all the categories and be amazed at how many categories you didn't even know existed. Go watch 10 shows that you've never ever been in ever and write down, why did I want to stay? Why did I want to leave? And be honest, be brutally honest, put your buyer hat, your I'm just coming to check out this platform hat on, and write down, why did I want to stay? Why did I want to leave? And you're going to get some really good insights about why people come to your shows, why some people don't come to your shows, things that you should be doing, things that you don't want to do. You're just going to get really good insights about that. Do that with, 10 or more shows. And then I want you to go to the ones that you go to regularly and kind of do the same thing, but wearing your buyer hat. And you're going to get some more insights about, oh, that's why. Okay. So do that because it will really help you do some brainstorming about what you might need to do differently to enhance what you're doing, make your shows better, make it so people want to come and stay, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So do that exercise. You'll get a lot of good a lot of good thinking will be happening with that exercise. So yeah. Let's see, what is it that you guys are talking about? It is jail. Always see great things, but saves money. Haven't had the courage to do it, but I have regular customers who do. Okay, so what are you guys talking about? I missed something. Cowgirl says I'm pretty boring and people still buy. Yeah, because you have a vibe. I'm a pretty boring person, honestly. I mean, if I didn't have my husband in my shows, I don't think we would succeed because I'm really boring. But he's a lot of fun in the background, and the way we interact and stuff makes our shows a lot more fun. So I'm too analytic and too much of a, I get wordy and I get preachy and I get teachy, and everyone's like, okay, shut the heck up and just sell us some stuff. Right. So it's good that my husband's there and helps me. If you still have something in your personality that keeps people in, and I'm sure great products, that's why they stay. Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a blend. You've got to figure out the right formula that works for you. So, yeah. Setting an amount you can buy each week before. Oh, that's what you guys were talking about, the limits. Yeah. I struggle with only me being the only one. I'm one woman show and MB support meets. Yeah, that is harder. So you have to figure out some really strategic setups and organization and other things that make it so that you can do a fantastic show by yourself. It can be done. I think the queen of whatnot, of pretty much mostly running stuff by herself, is, tell me who you think it is. And I'll tell you who I think it is. But and she's not in our category, in my category. J Lowe's or J Loft says adding my husband was a game changer. Yeah, it does really help. So makes a big difference. So who do you think is the queen of whatnot in running shows by herself? Pretty much. If you haven't watched, A Reworker's Passion does fantastic. She's great. She can pull off a show and do it by herself like no one else. She's good. But that's not who I was thinking of. The person that I was thinking of is the Hodgepodge Place. If you've never been into one of her shows, yeah, like it's like it, swipe it, you guys. So no. So the Hodgepodge Place, why am I saying that? And she's not for everybody. I don't necessarily go and watch her a lot, but I'm saying that because the woman can talk and run a show and keep things organized and get things shipped out fast like nobody I've seen. You know, she's just like, I'm like, this lady blows my mind. I mean, I can't even hardly talk, sell. And if Bert's talking, I have to literally just totally block him out or I can't even sell what I'm trying to do. You know, she's amazing. Yeah. And she just talks a mile a minute about everything going on in her life, you know, everything about her. And yeah, it's like she's just mind-blowingly how crazy she can just sell and talk and still keep things organized. I'm just like, holy cow. Yeah, she's a total hustler. Total hustler. So, and she just has really good ideas too about how to do things and everything. So, lots of sellers like that. There's some really amazing sellers on here. Go watch some of them. And I'm not saying you can necessarily be, because you know, that's the other thing. You've got to be yourself still. You've got to be authentic, you know, but can you improve you? Heck yeah. And you should be doing things all the time to improve, you know, what you're doing, how you're doing things. That's how businesses work. You always have to be pivoting and trying to do things better to make your business better. My brain hurts, literally, my brain hurts most days because I spend so much time, you know, analyzing what can I do differently? How's this going to work? You know, what can I do to make this better? You know, and that's good. You know, you need to do that. Not to mention, I think I won't get Alzheimer's because of this. Because if you're using your brain a lot, the pathways stay unblocked. So I've been told. Let's hope, because it does run in my family. Okay, so thinking of all those things, let me pin this other thing I put together that honestly I mean I read it and I'm like, I have to reread it and go, oh yeah. So this is my 5 F's for attracting buyers document that I put together brainstorming one day and I'm like, this just makes sense. So the 5 F's that I came up with. Take a screenshot of this, tap the picture, tap it again, take a screenshot, print it out at home, hang it up somewhere, and look at it every once in a while because it really will help you think about things you need to do differently. Okay. So, number 1 of how to attract buyers, you need to have fun shows. It's entertainment. People are coming here, like I said, to be on Whatnot, watching shows instead of whatever else they used to do before Whatnot existed. If you're not having fun shows, people aren't going to stay. Does it have to be as fun as watching, Jim Gaffigan episodes? No. But it has to be fun enough and enjoyable and something they want to watch for them to want to stay. Yes, shoppertainment. I love that. So what is that? It's different for everybody, but fun enough that those who, like like your shows, like what you have, want to stick around. And then the second one is fast pace. You need to keep your shows moving. It doesn't have to be lightning speed. It just needs to be fast enough that people don't get bored and click out. Right? Because the minute things go, the minute it's like a lull, they're going to click out to go find something else to watch because you're pausing. So keep it going enough that people want to stick around. Findings, you have to have good stuff. Those three things, boom. Fun, fast paced, and good stuff. What's the good stuff? I don't know. If you're on here selling, you think you have something worth selling, right? So make sure you're staying up on top of what's trending, what people want to have, what people want to buy. You don't necessarily have to have the most trendy stuff. That can be dangerous, but you at least need to know what kind of things are trending. And how do you know that? You do your research by going to other people's shows, by going to Google Trends, by, watching on social media what people are talking about, what's trending. Keep on top of it. Yes, if you like it, someone else probably does too. Make sure you have that stuff in your shows. All right. And you can also make the trends. How? By selling it properly, by showing people the big picture. I talk about this a lot. Show people the added value by showing how it can be used, what it can be used for, how it's going to change your life, how beautiful it is in certain settings, what you can make out of it, and so on and so on. It drives me crazy, honestly, to go into people's shows and have them selling stuff and they don't tell you anything about it. They don't enhance it by how they describe it. You gotta sell your stuff. Sell it, sell it. Okay, yes, be the inspiration of what they can do with it, what they can make out of it, and so on. Okay, yes, exactly. Even if you don't like it, someone else is gonna love it. It's their vibe. So make sure they can't tell you don't like it. There's a seller in our category. I can't remember who it is. Who is it that has the ugliest fabric thing in her shows? Like they pick something that she has that they all vote that it was the ugliest. I think that's hilarious, right? So make fun out of something if it's not the most popular piece, right? All right. And then after you've mastered those three things, or you continue to work on those three things, fun, fast paced, and findings, the next one is fulfillment. I don't care how great you're doing at those first three things. If you can't get your items shipped and provide good customer service, your career on Whatnot will end quickly. You have to be able to ship quickly and provide good customer service, or people will stop trusting you, will stop leaving good reviews, or they'll leave bad reviews, and you're going to go nowhere fast. So, fulfillment is huge. And then the last F on there is frequency. You got to show up regularly if you want to have this work. Regularly can be different for everybody. If you're consistent and you come on once a week and you're here every week and you have a following, people will put you on their schedule if they want to be there. If the most you can do is once a month, it's going to be a tougher road because it's hard to get traction once a month, but it can be done if you really make an effort to make that once a month a big deal. But you're going to need to be on here networking, going to some other people's shows, showing your face around a little bit so that once a month people will still show up for you. So frequency is a big deal. Yeah, seriously, Kinetic says I was off for a week and my attendance fell off. It does. Think about it. We have the attention span of a gnat nowadays because of, just how social media technology works. And so if you're not on regularly, the minute you're gone for a week or whatever, it's like, oh, who's that? And so many new people are coming on the app regularly that if you're not here to capture the new people, you're going to miss out. So you've got to be on as much as possible if you want to grow. And if you want the slow growth, that's okay. Just be realistic about, that's what you can do. And don't be all beating yourself up because you're not growing as fast as you would like to. It's what you can do. Does that make sense? So yeah, it's so easy to just swipe away to something else if you're not there. So there's the 5 F's. Take a picture, hang it up somewhere, look at it regularly. It will help you to stay focused on those things that are super important for you to continue to provide a good show, a good business that people are going to support and be there. So, any questions about the 5 F's? There you go. Yeah. And let me make sure I didn't miss any questions while I was pontificating. Yeah. Beth Ann says, you're great and I've learned a lot from you and really calm. Really calm. Am I calm? Or was that a typo? Let's see. Setting the amount you can buy each week before it locks you out. We talked about this. Yes. Let's see. I'm just going back through to make sure I didn't miss anything. I am calm. Most of the time I am. Ask my kids how calm I am. No, don't ask my kids. Actually, the older I get, the more calm I get. Probably just because I don't have the energy to get too animated anymore. But I've had my uncalm moments in life. All right. Let's see. All right. It looks like I don't have anything. Anyone was like, okay, I really need help. So, yeah, if you have things that you need help with, please put them in chat. Honestly, the best thing you can do for yourself if you're brand new is go on to the Seller Academy and go through all their little tutorials about all the different things, figure things out, and then come back and ask specific questions. Oh, thank you, Melson. So Melson is been around for a while buying and now starting to sell, and close to 1,000 sales. So that's exciting. Everyone give her a follow and bookmark her upcoming shows. When do you have your next show? Let's go check. On the 2nd. That's right, because you came in the other day rating and I bookmarked that. So she's close. Let me see where you're at. 883, you guys. She's so close. So that's exciting. Okay. What is something I can do for reaching 1,000 followers? Should I celebrate in that show? Absolutely. Once you hit your 1,000, schedule a show and advertise, 1,000 sales celebration, and then come up with something fun that you can afford to do. Maybe do one nice big giveaway at the end, or a few smaller ones throughout. That's probably better if you've some throughout and then a big one at the end, or something that you can afford to do, and just make it fun. Come up with something that's your vibe that you can you know share with your audience. What's something unique to you, something you make, something you do. Share a little bit more about yourself, and just do a fun show. And don't I think it's super important on here to celebrate your achievements, because in addition to, celebrating and having the people who support you want to come in and support you, it also gives you a theme. It gives you something fun to do for a show. And it's like, oh, I already have a theme, right? Because I'll be honest, having themes, having something that you're kind of focused on for that show really makes a big difference, because it helps bring in an audience, because people are curious. Oh, you're celebrating 1,000 sales. Oh, it's your birthday. Oh, this, that, whatever it is, have a theme, and people are going to want to check it out. Who doesn't love a good theme, right? I have a friend that lives close. I mean, she's one of the queen of themes. It's like you give her a good theme, and she's like, she can put on a party like nobody's business. So we had a church party recently, and the theme was like kind of like along the lines of give me lemons, I'll make lemonade. It was like a lemon theme. Oh my gosh. It was like you saw yellow for weeks because of how much she did the lemon theme, and we just got cute stuff, cute decorations. I mean, run with it. And I'm not saying you have to do that for every show. I'm just saying a theme really dresses things up, makes things more fun. It's like when you have a party, if you have a theme, it just makes it so much more fun. So have themes for your shows. Yes, even pet birthdays. Why not? Everybody loves to come see other people's cute pets, right? Just don't always use it as your thumbnail unless you are like that awesome seller who dresses up her greyhounds. Oh my gosh, aren't her thumbnails the greatest? What's her name? Her name just went out of my brain. She's an awesome seller, and she has her hounds dressed up in every thumbnail. It's like mind-blowingly so cute, right? But don't put your cat and your dog as your thumbnail for every show. Show what you're going to sell. She shows what she's going to sell because her dogs are dressed in it. I don't have that much patience. I don't know how yes, we are fabric hounds. Thank you. I knew it had the word hounds in it, and I'm like, wait, what is it? So, yeah, her thumbnails are ridiculous. They're so awesome, right? Yeah, she has beautiful items. So it works. That's kind of her brand, right? That's her branding. So that works. So come up with amazing ideas for themed shows. It will make a difference. You don't have to have one for every show, but it definitely helps. I usually end up having a theme based on some type of fabric, or the name of a fabric, or something that I'm doing. I'll kind of play off on that, do a video, do a song. it makes a difference if you set a vibe, set a theme. So it makes it more fun. And it makes it more fun for you too, because then you can get excited about it and people can see that you're excited about it. Um, because having fun, part of having fun is that you can show through how you run your shows that you're passionate about what you're selling. If you really truly love what you're doing, it comes across, it comes through, and then people love that you love what you're doing. So if you aren't having fun in your shows and you're not passionate about what you're selling, maybe you're selling the wrong thing. That's another thing to really, think about. Maybe what you're selling is not what you should be selling, because you need to have some passion about it and be excited about it, because that comes through. And it also helps if people can tell that you know what the heck you're talking about when you're selling things. Now, it's different if you're, a storage find or an estate sale or a thrift seller. You kind of sell a little bit of everything, but your passion then is the hunt, the find. That can be your passion, not necessarily having to be a expert on every item you sell, just that you're passionate about and knowledgeable about finding good stuff, right? That people like. Because that is, in that case, it's all about what are you finding? What treasures can you uncover? What are they going to show next? That's more the passion, that's the vibe. Vintage stuff, the vintage sellers, they've got to be on trend with what people are wanting. And honestly, it changes from month to month. I mean, you'll have, if you watch, I love vintage too. I don't want to sell it because I hate shipping fragile, bulky, breakable, huge stuff. I don't know, I can't wrap my mind around having to ship that kind of stuff all the time. But that category has huge trends. So you'll go into the vintage shows for a while and everybody wants this. And then a few weeks later, they all want the next thing. And then they want the next thing. And, there's some things that are staple vintage items that everybody's always wanting, like the fairy lamps and the hens on the nest. But even those flux. It's like everyone wants hens on nests, and then they sold a bunch and they're kind of sick of them. What's the next new fun thing in vintage? So you got to stay on top of what's trending in the categories. Yes, it's so hard with breakables. You could literally, I mean, it happens with everything, because if the post office runs over your box, I don't care how well you wrapped it, it's going to break. And who can afford to put everything in a steel box or a metal crate or even a wooden crate? We can't afford to package things that way. But I trust me, if people are selling swung vases, they are packaging that way, because people are paying $500 for a super vase, right? So it just all depends on what you can do. But that's why I don't like to sell breakables, because they almost always do break. And then I have to refund people and I'm like, what the heck? This is sucks. So yeah. So really, if you want to sell breakables, you've got to have the fortitude to deal with the customer service end of it. And you've got to be an expert at how to pack them, so that you mitigate how much of it actually ends up getting there in one piece. So yeah, it's not my thing. I dabble in it, but I try not to, because inevitably it's a headache. So yeah. All right, what questions you guys have? What do you need help with? Make sure you take a screenshot of the show notes And I was telling everybody at the beginning of the show, if you're a seasoned seller and you want to attend the Whatnot Summit that is coming up, it is on April 25th in Austin, Texas. And Whatnot is going to put on a whole day long event for sellers to help seasoned sellers level up. You're going to have some classes and other things. So if you've been a seller for a while and want to attend that summit, April 25th, go check your email. You will have gotten an invite. Draz, hi Jean, how are you this morning? We are having trouble determining what to do with the Premier only level shows. The Premier only level shows. What do you mean? Be more specific. What to do with the Premier only level shows. Be more specific. Tell me the dirty details. George is talking. Well, this is George on here, or is this Jean? If it's George, then you always speak before you think. That is true. And welcome in. All right. So yeah, tell me what you need help with. Yeah, just message me. Message me details and I'll try and help you if I can. So let me think about some other things. Oh, let me go look and see if the Whatnot seller account has kept the update show on the schedule. So yes, still on there so far. So on the 4th, make sure you have this show bookmarked. This is the Whatnot seller account. And they are interviewing tomorrow Beauty Finds, who is a seller. If you're, especially if you're in that category, you need to be there. Because when they do these interviews with successful sellers, you want to be in the house live. They do save those videos to YouTube. So you can go rewatch these interviews on YouTube. But you want to be there live because you want to see all the comments. You want to be able to ask questions. So if you're in that category, you especially want to be there. I love to be in those shows because you get a lot of good tips, things you can think about to do differently, right? And then on the 4th, they are doing a new product update show. They haven't moved it yet. Hopefully that will happen. I think they're going to tell us about some of the new updates to the app that they've been working heavily on. The shipping, packing slips. You've seen a couple different versions maybe coming out. They're still working on settling on what one they're going to release fully, I think. That's exciting. So the Whatnot seller account. So Whatnot sellers, they do live shows 2 or 3 times a month. And tomorrow they're interviewing Joy from Beauty Finds. And then on the 4th of March, they are having a new product update show talking about new releases to the app. And so make sure you go into that account and bookmark all the shows. So, they just have good videos. And then they post these videos on the YouTube account. So if you go into if you go into my show notes, the second starred bullet Well, the first starred bullet is that account. The second starred bullet is their YouTube account, Whatnot app. So you can rewatch any of them that you missed. Okay. All right. Good morning, Dee Butler. Welcome in. So yeah, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and with a question mark so they show up bold. And please take a screenshot of the show notes. That's all the official places that you can go to get help on Whatnot. And I am part of the community support team. What does that mean? It means I'm part of a team of sellers, and we actually communicate directly with the community support team at Whatnot. And so if you send me feedback, glitches, things you're noticing, I have a way that I can report. I have a way that I can ask for things. I can make suggestions. So if you have things like that that are specific, message me and I can pass them along. I don't really want just basic customer service stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about glitches that you notice. I'm talking about, you know, I would really love if we could do this or this or this, or wouldn't it be amazing if we could do this? You know, those kind of things. I don't want you necessarily messaging me about every little complaint. You know, if you see someone doing something against terms of service, report it. If it's really bad and repetitive, maybe message me. I have a way I can try and bring it to their attention faster. But I don't want to be inundated with that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. So, yes, that's what I can do. It's just, you know, it's nice to know that there's a couple of sellers that have, you know, a little bit of a connection that you can reach out to. And then we do, all of us that are a part of the community support team, once a month, we do a show that is themed specifically at the request of the community support team on Whatnot. They give us the theme. They ask us to do a show about that topic. And next month, that topic is show production. So if you look at my schedule, the 11th of March is right here. Please bookmark that show. And we're going to be talking about show setup and production. And my theme for that show is Backstage Pass. And what I would really love is for all of you that are listening to send me your very best tip for show production, the thing that has made all the difference for you in your setup, your organization, how you set your shows up. So we're talking about equipment, lighting, how you organize your orders, those kinds of things. So send me some stuff like that and I will share it. And if you send me a picture and stuff like that, I will actually share it and shout you out in that show. Because I'm not the expert on all those things, but I think sharing what all of us do, some of our best tips would be make for an amazing show. So I would love to share what everybody else is doing too. If you have something you would like to share and send me a picture. So if you would like to do that, please message me with a picture of your favorite tip of, you know, backstage. That's why I called it Backstage Pass. You know, send me a picture of something you have, something you do that makes a huge difference that you've discovered that really levels up your show production and makes it so much better, you know? just because we're speaking to new sellers who need tips on how to really put on a good production and what you can do to make it better. So there you go. Yeah, send them to me, please, 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 because then I'll get to shout everybody out, show your pictures, and it'll be so fun. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna keep mentioning that so everyone can send it out, and then I'll be able to share what you guys all sent, in addition to showing you some of my stuff. It is giving me an incentive to get my space a little bit more cleaned up, because on a regular basis it looks like a bomb went off in my production room. So yeah. I have to get some stuff cleaned up. Moved around. I was telling you guys the other day, that room that we do our shows in, we have a piano in there, and I really want to move it somewhere else, but I don't want to get rid of it, but I have nowhere to put it. So maybe I'm going to have Bert start playing the piano. He doesn't play. I play the piano, but I'm not really good at it. My daughter is amazing at it. My son is amazing at it. So I don't want to get rid of the piano, but I want it somewhere else. So maybe I have to figure out finally where else I can put it. So you might be moving. That's what I want to do too. I want to get a different house that will work better for my business. But right now, I'm kind of stuck because we live in Utah and housing is absolutely outrageous. I can sell my house and make a really good profit, but then I can't afford to buy something else because the housing, what is it called? The prices have gone so insane since I bought. So I have amazing equity, but then I can't really afford to buy what I want with my equity. So yeah, it's the housing market. It sucks. So I'm kind of stuck right now, but we're trying to figure some things out. So, and I do have a good house in the sense that I have a lot of space. I just don't have a room big enough that I would love to have. And the house that I'm in, I kind of don't want to put a lot of money into it because I don't want to stay here forever. So I'm kind of stuck in this rut of, do I spend any money fixing a house I don't love and don't want to stay in forever? That's my own problem. I'll figure it out someday. How's everyone else doing in that sense? Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Housing is pretty much a problem in most places. There's a few places in the country that are still affordable. The rest of them, it's insanity. Insanity. All right, I need to get going pretty soon here. Anyone else have anything? Let me make sure I didn't miss any burning questions, or anything. Doesn't look like it. So if you find my shows helpful, if you like to be here, make sure you have my shows bookmarked. Phil Tripp says she just saw a report that there are now 600,000 more sellers than buyers, though. So somewhere must be hopping. 600,000 more sellers than buyers. I'll have to ask about that. The ones that I've seen, I've always been told that there are still consistently more buyers. But keep in mind too that even if someone is a seller, we're all buyers too, right? Do you know any sellers that don't also buy? So guilty, right? Yeah. So we also are all buyers, even if a lot of us are sellers, right? Yeah. Yeah, we just pass our fabric around. I know there's a couple of husbands that just are like, they just roll their eyes at us because they're like, all you guys do is trade fabric around, right? It's like you buy it from someone and then you sell it to someone else who then sells it to someone else, and we never actually use it. That's what people think. That's what a lot of the husbands think. And I have to be honest and say, to a certain extent, that's somewhat true. We have to admit it, right? So we all have so much fabric that, yeah, Van says, what's your point, sir? Yeah, exactly. Um, you know, to a certain extent, we can't ever use in our lifetimes. If we sat on our sewing machines and sewed all day long for the rest of our lives, some of us still would not be able to use all the fabric we have in our house. So that's okay. We like to collect it. All you have to say is okay. If sat out in your garage and fixed everything you could possibly find, how many of your tools, how many of your, you can point to other things that other people collect and say the same dang thing. So just throw it back in their face, right? So, yeah, we all collect a little bit too much stuff. If you're here selling, then you have too much stuff, right? I do have convention fabrics for this weekend. Oh, what do you mean by convention fabrics? I'm curious. Convention fabrics? I'm so confused. My husband is a mechanic, and I swear he has the entire Harbor Freight Company, Snap-on Mac, and all the rest. Yeah. And he would have to break things on purpose, right? To ever use every tool he ever has, right? Yeah. Oh, you just got back from QuiltCon. You are so lucky that you got to go. So you have some fabric from QuiltCon that you're going to show in your show. And see, all of us are going to be like, ooh, I want to see what you got, right? Awesome. Theme. So you're going to sell some of it. Awesome. You bought enough for everybody. Of course you did. Of course you did. There would be no point in going to QuiltCon if you didn't buy enough that everybody can have a little piece, right? Very cool. All right, you guys, I do need to go. Everyone have a marvelous day. And bookmark my upcoming shows if you like to hang out with me on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. And then when we come on live a couple of times a month, usually with Bert and me there, and we talk about important things to help you grow your business and figure out how to use whatnot. And let's go see who we can raid. So let's see who it's suggesting. Let's go right into, let's see. How about let's go rate Cambria? Everybody good for that? All right, have a marvelous day and see you soon. We're on later if you want to stop in and say